Meet the faces behind a group set up to turn Dunfermline's iconic former fire station into a thriving community hub for artists. Firestation Creative has been a few years in the planning, and while the building has been earmarked, funding is still to be finalised.
Well, when I moved back to Dunfermline from Glasgow, the first thing I noticed was that there was no provision for the arts community. There had been a premises in the Glen, but that had been closed by Fife Council, so the arts community were bereft of any proper exhibition facility. So what I did then was got organised and started trying to bring artists together, and we initiated a series of projects. We published a book, we set up an outdoor art market at the Glen Gates. We did lots of things like that, but the most important one, I feel, was the plan to found some kind of cultural hub. So, following advice from one of the council's representatives, we got a grant to commission a feasibility study to identify a building and also demonstrate the need for an arts centre. And we looked at various buildings, and the one that we really decided upon was the fire station, because that was soon to be vacated when we viewed it. It's an Art Deco building, which places it right in the heart of the modern period of art. So it looked like it was tailor-made for conversion to an art centre. It's very spacious, and the ground floor, which was the engine room, looked exactly like a gallery. So it wasn't a great leap of the imagination to see it as an art centre.
What we've found, well, there's several things that I've discovered through the research, really. One is, again, going back to Coburg House, one of the things that often happens is that people will access galleries or spaces to show, or international shows, or funding packages, or sponsors, or something like that. And often they can be applicable to a number of artists, or a group of artists, or a single artist every year, or something like that. And this information is often really hard to get. So when people are in a hub, then the information moves much freer, and it means that there's a lot more opportunities for people to develop and use the support that's there that they don't necessarily know about. So that, for me, ticks a lot of boxes because it's tough. It's a tough market to be in. The other thing that we want to do very much is give people some sort of business support. So work with the council and local enterprises who are offering business support, and support small crafts and give them sort of training. We're interested in working with people from the Prince's Trust, for example, and give them some space and work with them to develop their skills and their businesses. Again, trying to get people on their feet and up and out there and give them the confidence that it's possible.
It had an immediate appeal. I think the most important thing I discovered was that there were many artists out there of varying abilities, and they all felt like they were on their own. This project is already successful in that it has brought people together and given the arts community a sense of itself. So I would say that is the most important factor in this whole project, is that it brings people together, and it gets people talking to each other, rubbing shoulders and creating opportunities for each other.
There is a lot of facilities for musicians. I mean, there could always be more, but they seem to be well catered for in terms of venues. I know that people at Creative Cloud have got rehearsal studios down there now, so that's primarily where I was involved, as music was my main love and still is, but I've also had an interest in the arts in general. There's always been a dearth of good space for visual arts in particular, and that's going to be the main premise of the fire station.
We've been very, very lucky insofar as John Gibson, who runs Coburg House Studios in Edinburgh, is a very much part of the team, and so he has a very successful business model already. So the thinking, a lot of the business thinking has actually already been done. So my task really was to fit it to the fire station and make sure that it's a viable proposition. It's definitely going to be challenging because it's a big building. There's lots of requirements behind looking after it. It's a listed building, so it's very much in the public eye and Historic Scotland's eye. But equally, there's a very viable opportunity there to create something that really works and can, for the most part, we hope, be self-sustaining. So that's the main challenge, to make all the bits fit together.
Well, John was at that same public meeting, John Gibson, who runs Coburg House. So we had a chat, and I'd met John previous to that as well. So from there, I just got John involved as well, and he was obviously showing an interest in that because he lives in Dunfermline, although he's most of his business is in Edinburgh.
So let's head across to Leith. Here at Coburg House, it's easy to get a taste of what to expect from Firestation Creative. Coburg House has 50 studios and an art gallery over 4 floors. 19 artists are already housed in the building. There are an astonishing 250 artists on the waiting list for a studio. John Gibson owns and runs Coburg House and is also involved setting up Firestation Creative in Dunfermline.
I mean, I used to live next door to the fire station. Always thought it was a great building, and when I looked at it with a view of looking at this building. They're fairly similar age as this building. In the 30s it was built, and I always thought, what could you use it for? And then when I met some of the guys that are involved in the whole project, they asked me could I help them out with it, and it quickly became a viable project, and it quickly became we could mirror the project using this as a business model, and so a lot of the facts and figures and the whole business model has been made up using Coburg House because it runs successfully as a private venture. The one in Dunfermline would be trying to do it as more a community project. They try to put something back in the community and try to sort of get a real interest in what they did for the arts.
People want to see these public buildings used for community use, and they're sick of seeing buildings knocked down or converted to super pubs.
The reaction has been overwhelmingly positive. People have got a real appetite. They know that building, most people can see that it's iconic, what it means to Dunfermline, and it should be used for the public good.
Again, very favourable. Everybody's really supportive of the concept. Everybody's aware of the challenges, particularly of operating it from such a big building. But what we seem to be heading towards now is a really strong body of support, and everybody wanting to see it work. So we're getting fantastic local support from Morgans, who are giving us free legal advice, and there's a accountancy firm in Edinburgh who are giving us free accountancy advice, and just people are really pulling behind it to try and fit it all together.
I find the arts, people that are in with the arts, and I mean it's not just painters or we have sculptors, jewellers, goldsmiths, silversmiths, everything, and it's really a hub of activity, and it really sort of gets things going, and it would really give all of Dunfermline a centre point to focus on for the arts, and it's really somewhere where all the different groups around Dunfermline could all use. The schools could use it for teaching, the schools could use it for exhibitions, end of term exhibitions and everything like that. And I think it would just unite all the sort of the arts in the town for every shape and form. And it's actually a better building than Coburg House, because it's got more of a more access to natural light than Coburg House has, which is really important. Where the fire tenders would have been 3 sort of fire tenders sat there. You could have 6 big huge glass doors, which is just make it so good, and also a cafe area in the place which will attract maybe people not interested in the arts but might get them interested in the arts.
It has been a long fight, if you like, but we feel we're sort of nearing the end game in terms of getting the building. But that's when our hard work will just begin. We know that, we're not kidding ourselves. We know that getting the building is just one thing. What we do with it then and making it a success will be a lot of endeavour, hard work and ingenuity.
I think a lot of people don't understand what we're trying to do. There's a lot of different art groups in Dunfermline, and what we're really trying to do is just bring everybody together, and have the one focal point. So I think it's a lack of information. We're doing it as a non-profit making sort of setup. We're trying to set it up as a charitable trust. So really, we're all interested, as well as that we're all interested in the arts, we're interested in Dunfermline as well. And we want to see something really good and positive happen to Dunfermline. And this is, I think, it's a great it'll be a great stepping stone to get us going in that way.